So, in continuing with reviewing the clans, I have Monty here. We're going to review Oracle Think Tank because that's what one of your favorite clans?
Yeah, it's one of my two favorite clans for Vanguard. We, just to let you guys know, like Team O.M.G Vanguard, we don't play like hardcore as we used to.
I try to play hardcore and be pro, but we all know how that turns out.
Well, here's the thing: we haven't really done as much for Vanguard ever since like Stride and Legion have come out.
Especially ever since Legion came out. Something I kind of want to point out right now: Oracle Think Tank and a couple other clans recently got clan logos redone.
Next to this logo, we'll put the old logo.
It's a bit hard to see because it's in yellow, but hopefully, like, if you guys look at the site, you can easily look at it. Now,
yeah,
I'm pretty certain every clan's going to go through this, but...
And will you put, like, one of the old clan symbols next to it just to see the update?
Or maybe, I don't know, I'll do something just so I can...
Okay. I'm just spatting off that.
What's your thought on the clan logos before I continue?
I haven't truly looked at them, but I like it. It looks like a fresh new update that Oracle Think Tank needed.
Yeah. What about, like, because Angel's got one, Spike's got one, a couple other, Aquas, Narcomis, Kagaros, they all got some. Narcomi one looks stupid, in my opinion, but I don't know. Well, maybe it's because I grew attached to the old logos, but I don't know. Maybe this will give a chance to give some of the clans that never got logos, like Link Joker, Murakumo.
Well, that's what this is. That's what they are adding them for.
Gear Chronicle got a logo then. Anyway, so Oracle Think Tank. Let's just start with their playstyle.
Their playstyle, it truly, what I think of Oracle Think Tank as a playstyle, it's more of a defensive clan.
Yeah.
Because it truly, it focuses on hand consistency and soul consistency. A lot of cards in this clan, it's all about throwing into the soul, having a big soul, and then keeping up with your opponent with defensive cards. And
manipulating your hand to make sure you have what you want in your hand.
Yeah.
Except for those people with bad luck where it's like, what? Why?
Yeah, this clan is more of a luck clan, in my opinion.
And something I've noticed, like, Oracle Think Tank, like, focuses around making sure you have a good hand. Almost everyone I play that has Oracle Think Tank, except for, like, your Battle Sisters, which doesn't even focus on hand, all the ones that focus on having a good hand, they end up losing. And I'm like, how?
Well,
how does that happen?
It also depends on how the clan, like, how the deck is set up. Alright, for a base, like, trigger setup, if I were to be given a basic one that I didn't know what I would be running with.
Besides the 4 heals, because obviously if you're running Suicide, you want to lose, is what it sounds like.
Suicide builds are nothing but crits, guys, just to let you know, for anyone who has never heard of that. If I were to not run, this deck, this clan can rely on draw power, which a lot of like sub decks for this one do.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, like, the base setup is 4 heals, 8 crits, 4 draws for this one.
So this is a very, like, draw and crit based deck, is what's
like, because
do you see? So it's like Spike Brothers, where it's just like, yep, crit and draw because stands are stupid.
This clan really does not require stands,
but you can throw them in.
You can throw them in if you want for a little, like, to change it up. Like, in my personal Battle Sister deck, as you guys seen, I do run 4 stands in that just to keep the Battle Sister theme going. But if I had my choice, I would change them out.
Alright.
But it is my choice, but if I could make another deck, I wouldn't have them in there. But I don't really feel like making another deck, so...
Okay, so before we get to, like, some of the main units and decks, I'm just going to kind of talk about, as this deck has progressed through the season, because it's been through most seasons. Season 1, Misaki was really the only main character that really used it. Like, some other people used it, but...
They slightly used it.
No one actually cared. And she focused a lot on the Ami build, as well as the Tsukuyomi build.
Yeah, those were the 2 builds she... Oh, and didn't she also just touch into Coco a bit?
No.
No, it was Season 2, she really stepped into Coco.
Season 2, she stepped into Coco and then kind of stopped.
Well, she stepped into... Then she also went back to Ami when Ami got the cross-ride.
Oh yeah, she did do that. And then Season 3, they died.
And then...
Season 4, they died.
And Season 5, they're back.
Yeah, they're back in Season 5, and this one bratty kid is using it. I'm like, wow, this is a disgrace to the
But we're not
developing
going to
team.
talk about them. We're only going to talk about Seasons 1 and 2 now, aren't we?
Well, and... Oh, yeah, because this one isn't... Honestly, I'll bring up some of the stuff from 4 and 5 because it did get a little support, and it has support in Season 5, but not much has changed. So, I'm just trying to think what else there is. This is a clan that's kind of stayed the same throughout its very minimum changes, and I think that's probably why it stayed the same, because it has
one big, like, sub-theme that's actually, like, changed about the deck is when Coco came out.
Yeah,
because
that's about
this deck, as I said before, guys, this clan is all about soul.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as heavy as some of the clans like Dark Oracular and Pale Moon. No. But it is still a good soul-intensive deck.
It's kind of like Spike Bros, except less blitz, when you really think about it. And honestly, when I think of clans that Bushiroad barely touches, after Mega Colony, it's this. Because they barely touch that.
They barely touch that one and this one and a couple of others. So
yeah, there are a couple of others, but this is definitely one that always shows up on the list. So
yeah, let's move on to...
So let's just talk about, like, main
archetypes.
units and decks and archetypes. So they do have 3 archetypes, and there are 3 decks around these archetypes.
And then there's also 2 other decks.
There are 2 others. Let's just start with...
Let's start with the archetypes. Let's go with that.
There are 3 archetypes. Ami is a very small archetype that doesn't have much support.
It has its own deck.
It does.
Like, CEO Amaterasu, you can run her in other decks.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to run a pure Amaterasu deck, there are grade 1s and 2s that actually have the ability, when Amaterasu is on the field,
Keep talking.
they have a, they legitly gain 3,000 power. So, that's the big thing about Amaterasu. Amaterasu's deck is all about hand consistency. Truly. It's all about keeping hand consistency to keep power together. To keep things going. Am I right?
Okay, I just stepped out. What'd you say?
Amaterasu is all about hand consistency to just keep going and going.
Oh yeah, it is a really defensive deck, straight up.
It's kind of, in my opinion, it's probably the most defensive deck in here.
It is, definitely. Like, I'm trying to think what would come close. Magus might come close, but Ami is really the big defense.
It's the big defense deck. Okay.
And when I say, like, Ami doesn't have much, like, support for an archetype, I mean, like, trigger-wise and just units altogether. She pretty much has the size 1, the grade 1, the grade 2 that say, hey, I get +3. But really, are there any other cards that really bank on Ami?
No. I mean, a lot. I've seen builds where Ami slipped in there, but there is, like, you can run just regular CEO by itself and other decks you don't need. So, if you really want to focus on an archetype that's defensive, I'd say go with Amaterasu, right?
Yeah. And she did get a Legion, but honestly, the Crossride's better.
Yeah, the Crossride is
Legion.
better.
Anyway,
On the Battle Sisters.
Yeah, Battle Sisters. Your favorite archetype, right?
My personal favorite archetype...
I can understand. Nuns with guns.
Yes, they are legit nuns with guns. The thing about Battle Sisters is, it starts off being more of a Royal Paladin deck. It starts off as being, I'm going to just play units attack, play units attack. It's not until they get to the grade 3s where it steps into more of that, Oracle Think Tank build. Yeah. Because a lot of their grade 3s are all about, if you give it, like, Battle Sister Parfait, for example. It's the best unit in the Battle Sister deck because if you don't have a good amount of cards in your hand, it legitly says, Counterblast 2, add a card to your hand.
Yeah.
And it also says, if you have 4 more cards in your hand when this card attacks, it legitly says, gain +3, and if this attack goes through, draw an extra card. So the Battle Sisters is another deck that's all about hand consistency, but it's got more power behind it than Amaterasu.
Yeah, so I'm just going to click on this before we go into other archetypes, just to kind of give some people some visualization. So the Battle Sister deck overall, I'm not going to lie, it's a really strong, balanced deck. You can understand that because you've lost to them. Yes, I have. It's a balanced deck. Like, I don't say a lot of decks are balanced, but...
People know me for this deck because we're around here, like, no one else plays a deck like this.
Nobody else plays decks, period.
Okay, when we used to play.
Yeah, you were the only one actually using a good Battle Sister.
Well, when I ever touched into, when I first got into the game, Oracle Think Tank was my first clan. Truly, you know that.
Definitely. And as you can see right here, they do have a valid amount of grade 0s, grade 1s,
2s and 3s.
and 3s. Like, they're not bad. They are very, and like, did you read up on the Legion? Because the Legion's okay in my opinion.
It's an okay Legion.
The generation break for it sucks. It really is bad compared to others.
But no.
And when we talk about bosses, you know Parfait is the boss of that deck.
Parfait is the boss of this deck. Parfait, I've seen people run. In every Battle Sister deck I've seen online, I've always seen Battle Sister Parfait in the deck because Parfait is the main girl.
She is the main
I've seen her as a minimum of 2 and as many as 4. I run 4 myself because I always want her.
Yes, especially considering she's not a break ride, but she is a really consistent unit.
Frankly, in my opinion, the deck can run without break rides.
Yeah, totally can. Totally justifiable, which makes it more lasting just because nowadays when people use Legion and stuff, you can just be like, oh yeah, I have this limit break, but I just gotta wait until I'm at 4 damage for it.
Yeah. But, so...
explain her skill.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Her limit break skill is when you have 4 or more cards in your hand, she gets +3, and it just can... And if your attack hits, draw an extra card. So that's what I meant. So Battle Sisters...
That's where the hand consistency comes in, that's why it's Oracle Think Tank.
Yep. Battle Sisters, probably the most consistent deck.
Yes. Well, except when you run into bad luck, which...
And
that makes any deck kind of suck.
Magus. That deck's also super consistent.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second, but...
Battle Sisters, very consistent, very fun to play. It's a very fun archetype. It's my personal favorite archetype.
Alright, so if we're talking about Ami, we might as well talk about the other deck that kind of spawns from Ami, which is that Ride Chain that nobody uses.
Oh, yeah. Tsukuyomi.
Yeah. Again, I haven't played any I don't really touch Oracle Think Tank. I really don't.
Well,
so.
You don't touch it because I touch it.
Exactly. Same reason I don't touch Great Nature.
And the reason why I don't touch Grad Blue.
Legit? You touched it once or twice.
I
saw what you did!
I touched it once just to see how it was. It wasn't for me, it was for you.
They were not mature enough, you... Monty, they were just not mature enough. I should report you for that anyway.
Okay.
We're gonna do a joke about that. Anyway, okay. So, as you can see here, not much to go off of. I mean, they have a 0, they have a 1, a 2, and a Legion, and then a Cross Ride.
Yeah.
That's about it, but...
The deck that we're referring to here is Goddess Tsukuyomi build.
The Ride Chain. Explain Ride Chains, Monty, because they are extinct now.
Ride Chains back in the day, people would play them, they start with a grade 0, and it would have an ability where it legitly said, the grade 0 usually searched out for the grade 1. Grade 1 would search out for the grade 2, and the grade... Yeah. And the grade 2 searched out for the grade 3.
And explain to me kind of the advantage of running this Ride Chain.
The advantage behind this Ride Chain is the fact of it's one of the most consistent Ride Chains out there.
Which is funny, because whenever I played it, nobody actually ever got it off.
Well, now it's not as consistent, but it used to be a very consistent build because you could actually set up your deck.
It's got nice art. Give it that.
Yeah, it does have extremely nice art.
Like, just explain how it works. Because
the whole point of the deck is, once you get to grade 3, you'll have a good sized soul to where you could ride to Amaterasu to get off her Mega Blast. That's what people played it for.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's why it was limited for a while, right?
Yes, this deck was very limited. It was limited because you could only run the grade 0 and 1 copy of the grade 3. That's what made the deck bad. That's why people could never get the deck off.
Because you can only run so many copies.
You could only run...
Thanks, Bushy Road!
It was the cards were on the Bushy Road's limited list. Now they're off, so the deck's actually half decent again with Break Ride.
Okay, so... Moving on to Magus, which is probably... the most luck-based deck out of the 5 decks. We'll talk about Coco in a minute, but
Yeah.
out of the 5, Magus is definitely most luck-based. Now, you don't know as much about them, do you?
No, it's a deck where I'm building it right now. If I see cards for the deck that I don't have, I'll pick them up. The thing about this deck is, guys, there's no, like... It's if you want to play a card game, like if you're playing
an actual card game.
Okay, if you were playing like poker, but this clan allows you this sub clan allows you to pretty much look at the top of your deck and rearrange it in the order of however you want it.
It basically stacks your deck to your advantage so that you at least know, because most of their skills focus on looking at the top card and guessing what it is.
Yeah.
So when you already know what the top card is, just like, hey. Also, it is, the Maguses do hone the Break Ride, which we should probably mention that because it's really good.
Hexagonal Magus. Now, this card you can play in pretty much every other build. I've seen it in every other build.
So, and one thing I'll just say about Oracle Think Tanks, they can mesh well together.
Yes.
Unlike certain clans where it's like, you need to play it a certain way, like,
okay.
I'm just trying to think, like, Die Police.
Die
you don't
Police-
mix Zeal with Die Robos. You don't do that.
No. But
Oracles? Do whatever.
Unless
it's okay.
Well, Battle Sisters, there are cards in there that legitly say for Battle Sisters, you have to have Battle Sister units. But I have seen this card played in there.
If it'll actually load. Yay. Anyway, just keep talking about it.
Processing. No, it legitly... The deck's pretty much, I'm going to cheat all the time, pretty much. There's the top of the version, guys.
Yay. It's basically a break ride. Give +10 and say, like, hey, look at the top 3 cards and place them how you want. And you don't shuffle that. So,
no, you don't shuffle.
Oh, look! 2 crits and a card I need. I'm taking that 1 card, and now I have a double crit for my drive
She's
check.
a card where you actually do want to run the extra crits.
Because extra crits are awesome. So, moving on to
the
Coco.
To the deck that I truly, personally hate the most about Oracle Think Tank. Soulless Coco. And the big word in that thing is soulless. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. So yeah.
You're explaining your hatred for Soulless Coco.
Soulless Coco.
Why?
Soulless.
Why? Why is Soulless bad?
Because Battle Sisters, it's all about the soul.
Well, not really.
Well,
they don't care.
No, not
they're just
Battle Sister, but
most of
Oracle Think Tank. Oracle Think Tank. It's about the soul.
And so your main reason for not liking the Scarlet Witch Coco deck is because it goes completely against...
It goes completely against what Oracle Think Tank's about.
So you're saying you don't like soulless people, so you do not like gingers, and I'm offended by this.
I'm sorry.
I'm vastly offended by this. Vastly. My junies are slightly rustled. Okay. But do you know how the deck works at least?
Yes, the deck works by the whole point of the deck is to get your soul before you place Scarlet Witch Coco. Coco will get rid of those last couple of cards in your soul and to completely just...
And then rush right afterwards.
Yeah, you pretty much play the deck, rush. You play grades 1s and 2s to empty the soul. You play Coco to empty the soul completely for the rest of the way. And then you rush because a lot of cards in the Scarlet Witch deck don't get extra power for not having anything in the soul.
So just it's a real rush build, unlike Ami, which is defensive, Battle Sisters, which just do whatever, and then you got Maguses, which honestly are a bit more defensive.
Yeah, but so, all right. You want to talk about a couple of cards that we just should mention?
Yeah, one card that's worth mentioning right away
is Psychic Bird.
Because Psychic Bird's an awesome crit. Especially in Oracle. Now, a couple clans have copied this. Rupsy's Banshee. Anyway.
Yes, but...
Psychic Bird, put into the soul, and draw a card.
Yeah.
That just sounds like a match made in heaven for Oracle Think Tank. It really does.
Yeah, and frankly...
Isn't this crit used pretty much in every OTT deck?
Pretty much, yes.
Except for maybe your Battle Sisters, but that's just because you want pure Battle Sisters.
I don't run this card... I would take the stands out of my...
if you could take the stands out, you would and play Psychic Bird.
Yes, if there weren't If the stands were more useful, I'd use them more. But they usually just end up in my hand.
So P guards, like
there are 2 P guards to this clan.
And
no, there's only 1 P guard to this clan.
Really?
No, there's 2. There's hexagonal Magus. There's the Magus P guard, and then there's Battle Sisters.
And I'm not sure if they have a quintet wall, but I don't really remember.
Who cares?
How many would you run this? In any given, like...
I say a minimum of 3.
Okay, 2 cards I just want to mention. For grade 1's, Dark Cat should definitely be mentioned just because of how unique it is.
Yeah, everybody draw a card.
You can draw, I can draw, we both draw.
If you want to play a game of like Magic,
it's a fun unit. It really is.
Magic. If you want to play a game of Card Fight Vanguard where you like interact with everybody, play this card.
It is a fun card. Everybody draws when it's placed, and it's a semi-K, so you get something out of that. It's a very nice card. Whenever I see that, my eyes just kind of light up just because it's a nice card. Just like, everyone draw. And one other grade 1 that should definitely be worth mentioning, which, just because, again, originality, if I can... There you are. Weathered Forecaster Miss Mist.
It's an early P card, guys.
So, what this card states is, if you're being attacked by a grade 2 Vanguard... You can place this on the field and you nullify the attack. Yeah, you choose one of the cards like on the field, like you don't want to be attacked, and it'll say like you can't. You don't have to discard for it either. No, discarding this card to the guard circle is the only thing you truly have to do for it. So, Cat Jack, eat your heart out. Yeah, and he'll explain that when he gets to Normal Grapplers. Just to kind of briefly explain it though, it's basically one that focuses on a grade 2, so. Grade 2 and nothing but crit, so eat your heart out, Cat Jack. Grade 2s for Oracle Think Tank that should be mentioned. Gee, there really aren't that many grade 2s. There really aren't that many grade 2s in Oracle Think Tank. I really don't know if there's any to mention. Let me just scroll down here and see if I can...
are you forgetting the one that, changed?
Oh, the one that everybody's copying the skill of now? Yeah. Who was that? His name is so hard to remember and his art is so unforgettable.
Oh my gosh. Man, I'm hearing nothing when I see it though.
Yeah, you're seeing it, but you can't remember anything. If, again, my internet will just let me. Please? Thank you.
Oh, yes, our good buddy Silent Tom.
Silent Tom, that's right!
No.
The thing everybody likes. And got that artwork, though.
Yeah, that artwork.
I buy that for $1.
That's the hilarious part. This card is actually still used in Oracle Think Tank decks today.
Of course it is.
And it came out in set 2, guys.
Yep, still being used. Grant Oracles haven't gotten much support, so...
I don't want to talk about it.
Anyway. But an 8K that basically says, hey, when I attack, you can't guard with grade 0s.
There are grade 3s now that say that. And grade 2s now that say
everybody ripped off Silent Tom.
Poor Silent Tom. Nobody remembers him.
Everybody remembers Silent Tom. Grade 2. He's almost a grade 3, except he's not. So, I think we talked about a lot of good units. Let's just talk about some bad.
Well, let's talk about a meh unit, where it's like, it's good in the right situation, but it's bad 90 other % of the time. Evil Eye Princess Shiraili. Yay, there it is. They love me. Yay! Anyway, Evil Eye Princess Shiraili. This is a card where when I look at it, I'm like, okay, that can be used for certain situations because it's one of the first situations.
When were you released? Lawkeeper came.
It came in Awakening of Twin Blades. It came out when Majesty Lord Blaster came out.
What about Lawkeeper?
It really didn't do much against Lawkeeper.
No, I'm just trying to think. When did Lawkeeper come out?
Set 3.
Okay, so Lawkeeper did come first. Because me and T were having a discussion about that and who Nubatama took their awesome abilities from. Anyway, Evil Eye Princess Shiraili says, place it on the field, bind a unit in your opponent's hand. Yep. Which, in a situation where you want to go for game...
If your opponent has little to no cards in their hand, like if they've got 1 card left in their hand, but they need it to guard terribly... But the thing about her is, by that point, if your opponent has little to no cards in their hand... you can normally just break through easily. Yeah.
But at max, I'd run 2 of it, though, if necessary. At max.
Yeah, at max.
Like, cause it's a very situational card, but it's not that bad, and it's a 10k. And it works with whenever you place it, so it's just like, oh, I have to ride Evil Eye Princess Riley. Well, at least I got
You got another card of the soul?
Yeah, at least I have another card for the soul. And one card that we should just point out,
That's bad.
what? I don't even know why this one exists, but I understand why it could be a deck, and I'd love to see T, because T said he would make this into a deck.
Not that one?
No, it's the other one.
Yeah, that's it.
Come on, you could do it. Yeah, so Imperial Daughter.
Imperial Daughter. What a hilarious card.
It is hilarious.
It took the idea of Brutal Jack and his restraint ability and made it worse.
Yeah, well, it's a very, like, how you feel about it is how you feel about it.
If you're
like,
gonna make a deck around... If you're
somebody make a deck around it besides T, I'd love to see T make it this deck.
If somebody would legitimately, like, post it, like, a link to the deck list, and, like... And we will take a look at it, and I may even... I'm not kidding you. I may even get the cards necessary to build that deck and test it.
Now, one thing interesting, there are two ways to release restraint from this.
Yeah, that's the...
One way is build up your soul by counterblasting, or just not having units and you get plus 10 to crit. So, it's 11k base, so already it break rides when you don't have units on the field. Granted, the Vanguard's the only thing attacking, but that sometimes works.
That's
like,
the
hey,
big...
Link Joker. Hey, you need something? Nope, I'm just going to conserve my hand and just attack with 21 and a crit each turn. Which, that's continuous ability too, so that's pretty nice. But it's nothing, it can only be its own deck. It cannot go anywhere else.
There's one situation where I'd play this, and if it was on its own deck. That's the only time.
It could work in Ami.
Slightly.
Slightly. Like, can't work in Battle Sisters, cannot work in Magus.
It cannot work in Tsukuyomi.
No, Coco would take it if you can't think of anything else. Because Coco's a 10k, so...
But still, Coco's a rush deck, so you need those other cards behind it.
That is true. Of course, that's where the counterblast comes in. But then you just kind of defeat the purpose of Coco.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Then you completely... So, frankly, she's not even good in Coco.
No, she's just good on her own. She gives no cares as to where she goes. So overall, Oricale...
It's a defensive clan with some offensive capabilities.
It's not the worst clan I've seen.
It's probably one of the most consistent clans.
Except whenever I fight it, because for some weird reason a lot of people don't want to have consistency in it, I guess, or just have terrible luck.
It's just bad luck.
And it's not just you, like, I've seen other people play it, and I'm just like, why is there such bad luck with this clan?
Yeah.
But overall, this is not a clan for people starting out. Like, it got a trial deck, and I'm like, nah.
This is not the clan for people starting out.
Unless you know that you want to play defensive, and you want to play a game where you control your hand, then definitely take it. But if you aren't sure, this is not the first clan to try out.
No, you're better off going with a clan like Royal Paladin.
Or any of the vanilla clans that I will probably talk more about later, but...
Even Kagero's a better option than this.
Yeah, definitely.
But...
Still, overall, not a bad clan, though.
Not a bad clan. I love it.
I'm indifferent about it. Like, it's one of those clans where I respect the other player for using it.
Yeah, because they don't have much support.
Yeah, they don't. Anyway, this has been Solomon Pleasant and...
Want to get 1, 4, 3, 2?
Monty! And this is Team O.M.G. Vanguard signing off.
Signing out, guys.